What's up guys, and welcome to Jumpers for Goalposts. And today I am going to be going through whether Jordan Pickford is worth his price tag and whether he'll do well at Everton this season. Now this hopefully is going to be a new series that I'm going to keep coming back. So without further ado, let's get into Jordan Pickford. Now to start off, he signed from Sunderland to Everton for a £30 million price, 25 million initially, and he's the third most expensive goalkeeper behind Buffon, who moved from Parma to Juve in 2001 for 32.6 million, and the new Man City keeper who signed this season, Ederson, who also moved for 34.7 million. And Jordan Pickford has signed a 5-year deal with Everton. Now if we look at Pickford's stats last season for Sunderland, he had 32 appearances, he made 4 clean sheets, he had 140 saves, conceded 56 goals and had 3 errors that led to goals. That's an average of 1 clean sheet every 8 games, and he averages over 4 goals a game and over 1.75 goals conceded every game. Now obviously for a goalkeeper you want more than a clean sheet every 8 games, but as he was playing for quite possibly the worst team in the league last season, easily the worst team in the league last season, it is kind of understandable. He had an awful defence in front of him, which is also backed up by the fact he had to make an average of over 4 saves a game. Now that is more than keepers that I have compared him with, which we'll get onto later in the video. Averaging 1.75 goals conceded every game. Now that is close to 2 goals a game. That should not be happening for a goalkeeper. Whether it's his fault, whether it's because of the team he played, I guess we'll see next season. And when we compare Jordan Pickford to Joel Robles and Martin Skrtel of Everton last season, obviously the team that Pickford has just signed for, between them they made 39 appearances, so obviously the extra sub appearance because one of them must have gone in off injured. Between them they made 13 clean sheets, 96 saves, conceded 44 goals, and there was 3 errors that led to goals, all of which were Martin Skrtel. Now these two are averaging a clean sheet every 3 games, which is 1 clean. These two are averaging 1 clean sheet every 3 games. That is almost 3 times more than what Pickford was getting last season on average. Nearly. They were also averaging 2.5 saves per game and only 1.13 goals conceded every game. Now when you look at the saves per game, it's ridiculous the difference. 2.5 saves a game to Pickford's 4 saves a game, over 4 saves a game. Now that's most likely because of the defence in front of him, but that is a lot more saves to Pickford, which suggests he could be doing better in goal, but again, the defence. Now averaging 1.13 goals conceded is not great for a team that's got to be top 8, but again, it's better than what Pickford was getting. Now if we compare him to possible rivals last year, which I'm comparing to the team above them and the team below them, the team below them, which is Southampton, their goalkeeper Fraser Forster seemed to have quite a good season last season. He had 38 appearances, made 14 clean sheets, he had 76 saves, 48 goals conceded and had 2 errors that led to goals. Now that's an average of 1 clean sheet every 2.7 games, averages 2 saves a game and averages 1.3 goals conceded every game. Now Fraser Forster did play 6 more games last season, but he did also get 10 more clean sheets. Also averaged a clean sheet every 1 clean sheet in 2.7 games compared to Pickford's 1 in 8 games. So it suggests it's a much better record. Now Southampton were known for being a very defensive team last year, and that is arguably why they got rid of Claude Puel this season. Now, Southampton reached their highest point in the Premier League, and they still sacked the manager, which suggests that the fans and the owners were not happy with the way that Southampton were playing, which was a very defensive way of playing, which would obviously, inevitably, would help Fraser Forster and helps him look better. And again, he averages 2 saves a game, although that is decent. Pickford's having 4 saves a game, which suggests that he's making a much more saves every game. Now the team above them were Man United, so now we're comparing Pickford to David De Gea, which obviously is a bit of a mismatch. David De Gea is a world-class goalkeeper, but it could be what Jordan Pickford is looking to go to up in the future in the next 5, 10, 15 years. David De Gea last season made 35 appearances and kept 14 clean sheets, which is the same as Fraser Forster in 3 less games. He made 74 saves, which is 2 less than Fraser Forster, and he only conceded 29 goals and had 1 error that led to a goal. Now, only 29 goals conceded, that's less than number of appearances he had. He averaged 0.8 goals conceded every game, which is significantly better than Jordan Pickford, who had 1.75 goals conceded every game. He also averaged a clean sheet every 2.5 games, averaged 2.1 saves a game. Now, again, Man United did play very defensively last season. They had a lot of draws, 0-0s, 1-0s, which suggests that maybe it's difficult to compare. But David De Gea is a world-class keeper. It's not someone you want to be comparing Jordan Pickford with now. It'll be someone for the future, someone he wants to go up and try and compete with. Whether he can get there is another question, I suppose. Now, we go on to looking at Everton's defence. Now, at the end of last season, after Coleman's awful injury during the international break, his leg break, they lined up with Holgate at right back. They had Ashley Williams and Phil Jagielka as their 2 centre halves, with Jagielka on the right hand side, and Baines at left back. And in this game, they lost 3-1 to 10-man Arsenal, where Koscielny got sent off in the 14th minute. Also, the month before, in another 3-1 loss, this time against Liverpool, they played 3 at the back, or 5 at the back formation, where Matthew Pennington came in as the 3rd centre half, with Holgate on the right and Baines on the left. Now, in this particular game, Matthew Pennington really struggled to handle the Liverpool attack, despite himself getting a goal, which would have given him a confidence boost. But players like Coutinho were just, he couldn't stop him. He could not stop him. So when you're looking at their defence, you think Holgate, inexperienced, played a bit, but inexperienced and young, has got a bit of a future. Got Williams, Jagielka and Baines, who are really experienced, and obviously Coleman that could come in. He's very experienced. He's been playing in the Prem for many a year. Now, when it comes to people that back up Ashley Williams and Phil Jagielka, last season they had Funes Mori for some of it, although he did get injured for the end. I think it might have been on international break, not sure on that. But other than him, their backup centre-halves have been very, very young. Matthew Pennington was their 2nd best backup. So if Pickford was in the team last season, it would suggest that if one of their centre-backs, or both their centre-backs, got injured or got suspended, then they may have struggled with 2 young defenders at the back. And with Funes Mori already out, maybe they would have really struggled, and that would have really brought Pickford in. But next season, that doesn't seem to be the case of what's going to happen, as they have already signed Michael Keane from Burnley, and Michael Keane, a solid centre half. He'll be playing for England the next year or 2, easily playing a centre back. But in terms of backup for right back, obviously Coleman's out injured and Holgate was the backup, but now Coleman's out maybe for most of this year. Have they got a backup at right back that's good enough? I don't think so. Are they going to sign him? They haven't yet. Probably will. They're going to need to, because I don't think Holgate is going to be able to last the whole season, as he's always going to get suspended. There's always a chance of injury for any player, and it's not really worth the risk of leaving, say, a right midfielder at right back, even though that did work for Liverpool with James Milner at left back. As of next season, Pickford may be seen as having a decent defence in front of him. Obviously, they've got the choice of Jagielka, Williams and Keane for centre halves. And when Coleman's back, he'll be like a new signer when he comes back, and Baines at left back. Whether this will be obviously Funes Mori as well, and whether this is a 3 at the back he's trying to build, with maybe Williams, Jagielka and Keane, with Funes Mori to back up, or it's a 2 at the back with 2 backups, or Funes Mori's leaving. We yet to find out yet. That'll be something we see over pre-season and in the first game of the season. Now, like I said before, it is likely that Everton will fill the void of right back and bring in someone maybe more experienced to go ahead of Holgate, so Holgate's to back up again, or someone that will back up Holgate himself. Where they see him in the ranks, who's to know? Now, it was pretty obvious last season that Everton needed to sign a new keeper, a new top keeper, maybe someone with experience or someone young that is proven in the Prem, which they have done with Jordan Pickford. He has proven in the Prem he can save, he can lead from the back, he can come and claim. That's something that every keeper should have. That's something that I personally love in a keeper, is someone that comes and claims in their box, they own their box, their 6-yard box is theirs, no one's getting close. And as Joel Robles didn't have the greatest season last season, even though it looks, when you compare the stats to Jordan Pickford, they had a better season, he was playing behind a reasonably good defence. He is Williams and Jagielka are very good defenders. And one moment that sticks out in my mind is when Everton played Liverpool in that 3-1 win I was talking about earlier, and Joel Robles was left rooted for 3 of the goals. Maybe 2 of them were out of his reach, but Origi's goal in particular, the third one where he came through, was terrible goalkeeping. He came out to about 5 yards from the outside of his box, and he just stood there, and Origi smashed it into the middle of the goal. It went straight past him. Joe Robles was just on the floor, don't know what he was doing, but it was clear that he was not the keeper that Everton looked for. Now Everton are going to be looking to achieve quite highly in their Prem this season. They've had a big investment coming in, so they'll be looking to spending money to try and get about to where Liverpool are at the moment. Whether Liverpool are going to go further on or they're going to fall back down again like they seem to do every 5 years is yet to be seen. And where Joel Robles lacks, I believe Pickford can fill in that void. He is a very good keeper, he's a good shot stopper. Whether he can take the price tag on his back and ignore it is another question. Not all players have been able to take the price tag from one place to another and keep it going. Now with the current market, 25 million for a keeper is high, although it's probably low for say a striker that's the similar quality in terms of like proportions. For a striker that'll be quite reasonable. For a keeper that's very high, being the 3rd most expensive keeper in history. Now that is a lot of pressure to put on a man with such potentials. It's such a risk to put that on someone with such a high potential, because it could really turn around, but it could also push him on. Himself says he's not thinking about the price tag, he doesn't care about the price tag, he's just going to go for it. Personally, I think it's a bit expensive, especially considering he was playing for a Sunderland team where inevitably he's going to look better because there's more shots coming at him, he's got more chance to prove himself, and he did, and he got himself a move. Whether he can carry on that Everton, yet to be seen, I suppose. And myself, I do feel that there's other keepers that Everton could have gone for, and obviously there's Joe Hart, plays in Man City, he's won the Premier League with Man City. He went out on loan to Torino last season, didn't have the greatest season, but wasn't the worst. He was playing for Torino. There's also Jack Butland, who I rate very highly, very highly. He's injured most of last season though, but he is a very, very good keeper. He'll be England's number 1 as soon as people realise how bad Joe Hart is. And if I was an Everton fan, I would have rather have taken Butland. I reckon you probably could have got a much cheaper deal than what you got Pickford for. I'd have taken him. He's still young as well, maybe not as young as Pickford, but he's got such potential. And he's already a very, very good shot stopper, one of the best in the Premier League at the moment, probably in the top 5 or 6 goalkeepers in the Premier League without having much of a price tag on his back, particularly after being injured for most last season, not being able to prove himself. Now Jordan Pickford, is great to see teams that are investing domestically with English talents. Now Everton have invested in both Michael Keane and Jordan Pickford, now both England internationals, I suppose, in the next year or 2, and hopefully will go on to great things. And it's great to see that they're preferring to sign these English players rather than foreign imports. Everton could easily have gone out and gone to Villarreal and tried to sign Asensio, or they could have gone to Valencia and tried to sign Abdenor, but they didn't. They've gone domestic. They've gone for young domestic English players that are going to do the job and hopefully grow and help the country in the future. Now that has been the problem recently, is big clubs, Everton obviously top 8 club, and these big clubs have been going for these foreign investments. Even the young players have been going foreign. In Liverpool, for example, signed Markovic for 25 million. They could easily have signed someone better. They could have signed 4 players for that price from the Championship, or even looking into the non-league. Look at Jamie Vardy. There's nothing wrong with going to non-league. Now obviously buying these foreign imports do work sometimes, but it just feels better that English talents are getting a chance, getting their moves to the bigger clubs, and that's inevitably going to help the future. Whether all of them work is very unlikely, but more of them are going to work. We're going to have better keepers than Joe Hart, which I don't know if you can tell yet, I do not like as a goalkeeper. So overall, Jordan Pickford, is he worth the money? At his current standard of playing and how he played last season, I would not say he's worth 25-30 million. However, I think that price is the price for him in the future as much as it is now. So maybe over the next 4 or 5 years you'll be able to say yes, he was worth that money, and you'll definitely be able to say he's worth that money if he's gone off to Real Madrid for 60 million. We'll see what happens. But anyway, that is it for today. Hope you enjoyed the gameplay in the background, which is me playing with Everton and England, obviously Pickford, right? So this was Jumpers for Goalposts. Please like, subscribe, and see you next time.